What's up, guys? It's King Andrew. Good to see you tonight. We have some Nexus Gaming Series action. Who's playing tonight? I need to check my own stream settings. Div B East, Reset City versus Shut Up and Rage. So, good to have you here. Good to have you here. All of you who are here, who I see in the chat. Tuna Breath, Joker, Eternally Blue, Crizzo, Wizard Beast. Yeah, you guys are here. Thank you guys for coming back. What do we got going on tonight? I literally just said it, but let's take a look at it in a little bit more detail about the teams that we got going for tonight. So this is Div B East, Reset City versus Shut Up and Rage. So just taking a look at their records, you can see that both of these teams are teams that are struggling a little bit currently in their division. Similar records for both teams. Reset City 2-4 series record, 6-9 map record. Shut Up and Rage 1-5 series record, 5-10 map record. So again, both teams struggling a little bit. Very similar series record, very similar. And I'm hoping that because those are very similar series records, we're gonna have a good series tonight. Hopefully a 3-map banger. If it's not a 3-map banger, well then I'll just pick up another match at 7:30 and hope that's a 3-map banger. But if it's... I lost my train of thought. Anyway, just to point out, there is a little bit of a discrepancy between the stats that I am putting in front of your face right now compared to the stats that are on the NGS website. Both of these teams also received an extra series win and additionally 2 map wins on their records that are listed on the NGS website, because there was one team in the division, Protectors of Shakuras, that I believe did forfeit out or drop out, so every team received a free forfeit win from that. I modified those records to show the actual records for how many series and maps that these teams have actually played, because I feel that is a more accurate representation of how these teams are doing so far, which is to say that, again, they're both struggling. One of them, of course, going to get another win tonight. If Reset City gets a win, it does put them a little bit closer to getting close to that batting 500. Throwing the sports ball reference in there, they would be at 3-5. And that would further put Shut Up and Rage a little bit further down in the standings with 1-6 series record. And if Shut Up and Rage gets the win, then they actually just tie Reset City. Also took a look sometime at some key heroes for these teams. For Reset City, their top 3 most played heroes are Malfurion, Muradin, and Greymane. It's an interesting trio of heroes because there's not really a clear theme between those 3 heroes. They're just 3 heroes. Put a plus next to Malfurion because that's the only one of those 3 that the team has a positive win rate on, of these 3. Now, of course, given that these are both teams that have negative win rates, their stats on most of their heroes are not going to be positive. So it's also very interesting that the Malfurion of all heroes is the one that they actually have the positive win rate on. Typically, Malfurion is, interestingly, first of all, he's not a very easy healer to play. In my opinion, he's one of the hardest healers in the game. Sometimes I even argue the hardest, but no, White Mane's actually harder. And it also it doesn't have like a clear connection to the other picks. Malfurion typically goes well with Tracer, he goes well with Stitches. He can certainly work with many other things, but it's still an interesting thing to see. Meanwhile, when you take a look at the key heroes for Shut Up and Rage, you do see a pretty clear theme between the Varian, the Tychus, and the Stukov, building towards that one-shot, that blow-up. Interestingly, though, again, Tychus, the only one of those heroes with the positive win rate. So they're not actually always running those 3 heroes concurrently or contemporaneously. But there is a theme, at least between the 3 of them, so they might still be, even if they don't always have those 3 together, they're probably trying to play blow-up styles. That's probably just part of how they like to play. And again, Tychus is the only one they have a positive win rate on, which again, for a team, especially Shut Up and Rage, the one with the weaker record between the 2 teams, they've got a 62.5% win rate on the Tychus, so that's something that's clearly working for them. Also fairly likely that it might be something that's banned against them. Whereas the Variant and the Stukov, they actually only have roughly, I think one is at a 25% win rate and another one's at a 20% win rate. So, and again, these are teams that are struggling a bit, so it's expected that they're going to have many heroes where, again, their win rates are not going to be so high. But anyway, I'm going to let these teams know that I'm ready because they're ready too. And we're going to get into a draft any second now. Now, as we also get into this draft, Some of these teams here, oh, we got into the draft already. Shut Up and Rage is a rebrand of a family of teams. So there are actually 3 different teams under the Rage Against the Game banner. There is Rage Against the Game Esports, Shut Up and Rage, and then really something that has, it's like really aggro ghoul elites. I'm actually wondering if the R in that is correct. But either way, those are 4 words that when you look at the first letters, it creates the acronym Rage. And those are all teams that are connected, so they are sister or sister teams, so to speak. They were formerly part of the Timeless Graveyard Discord server, now rebranded to Rage Against the Game. Back when they were Timeless Graveyard, every team was some acronym of a family member name: mom, dad, sis, things like Midnight of Mummies, which is the team that Shut Up and Rage, this team, actually originated from. Sylvanas banned out. Now, interesting about the Sylvanas ban, a couple things. For me, playing in Nexus, I realized that Sylvanas has been banned out against me almost every single map that I played, except for like 1. So she's a very commonly banned hero. And yet, at the same time, a patch dropped today, which actually had some pretty significant nerfs to Sylvanas. I wonder if they realized, and I'm wondering also if they care. So the variant's going to be banned out. Mentioned that as one of the key heroes for Shut Up and Rage, so they are going to be denied that easy taunt blow-up combo. Of course, there are several other heroes that can work similarly. You can do roughly the same thing with ETC or Anubarak, since they kind of have that linear engage with a fairly long stun. Johanna going to be banned out. Pretty common in the division, and pretty common in like mid to lower divisions. Up in higher divisions, you don't see the Johanna ban and first pick quite as much. And I wonder if we're going to see the Tychus ban here again. That is, of those 3 heroes that nope, going to be the Brightwing ban instead, which as a ban is actually a much stronger ban than Tychus. It's just the targeted hero that I was wondering if we would see that we didn't. And it's going to be the Vala picked up by Top Gun 707. Easy K picking up the Junkrat. And what is our next player going to pick up? It's going to be Blaze, picked up by Chelsea. Blaze, of course, just a super strong hero, period. One of the top 3 offlaners in this game, so I do like to see that. I'm a personal fan of Blaze, and he's very forgiving, incredibly tanky. He is on average, maybe not even on average, in general, he is tankier than most other bruisers, because he's not officially classified as a bruiser. He was made out to be a tank, and on average, tanks are more tanky than bruisers, at least in terms of health pools go. On average, bruisers do have lower health pools than tanks, and Blaze is classified as a tank. In fact, Blaze is something like, if we're just going by health, he is something like the 5th or 6th tankiest hero in the entire game. And of course, there are other measures of tankiness, as we do have the Garrosh banned out, who has his own measure of tankiness with his armor mechanic that we're not going to see. I do kind of like the Garrosh ban, at least in the sense that it works very well with Tychus, that hero that I pointed out as a key hero, which did indeed end up being picked up. Tychus also something that I think is pretty good on this map. Tychus does offer a lot of wave clear, which is pretty important on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And what is our final ban going to be? Going to be the Muradin. Muradin is, I'm pretty sure that's actually a preferred hero from Treywork, who I believe is playing tank on the side of Reset City. The Garrosh banned out is also, Garrosh is a very powerful front-to-backing hero, and we have a very powerful front-to-backing duo on the side of Shut Up and Rage in the form of that Tychus Vala. They can really kill any hero they want, and it's going to be the ETC picked up. Talk about a tank that can definitely be killed. He might get melted pretty easily, but of course sometimes that boop away from Tychus, or boop away from ETC, can make it a little bit hard for Tychus to follow up effectively. Final 2 picks going to be coming in for Shut Up and Rage here. Going to need both frontliners, Leo and Stitches. Stitches, I do like the Stitches. I did not expect it. Stitches, I think this is probably, in my opinion, I would probably call this Stitches' second best map behind Towers of Doom. One of the things that is strong for Stitches on this map is that it is an objective style that requires you to stand still to channel, which makes it a little bit easier for Stitches to find those hooks. So, those are our picks. All right, boys and girls, game number 1, Div B East between Reset City and Shut Up and Rage. Our blue team tonight is going to be Reset City. Chelsea's going to be on that Blaze, Treywork on the ETC, or I'm going to be on that Malfurion. I was about to say ETC. Easy K going to be on the Junkrat. Ezo falling a little behind, playing on that Greymane. Their opponents, Shut Up and Rage. Andrew's going to be on the Leo. Mojo will be playing as I actually can't even see. I think Anduin. Val is going to be played by Top Gun 707. Bricky is going to be on the Stitches. And who have I missed? I did say Andrew. I missed Huckett on the Tychus. Hook is going to go out. Hook is going to miss. So there is very, very powerful follow-up from the on hooks. So much follow-up that if it is executed correctly, there's a lot of kill pressure from the Stitches composition from Shut Up and Rage at level 1. Really, before even level 10, when of course they'll be looking at Gorge. Most likely looking at Gorge. Bricky going back in after he gets pulled out by Mojo. And then looking for a hook. Bricky playing a little bit risky there. Got booped in, pulled out, started walking back in. Treywork a little bit. Looking to move up, but gets burned out a little bit by Huckett here. Huckett does manage to be able to dash out. And Treywork is going to be the first one going down there, getting hooked in at 0 hit points, or rather 1 hit point, and then knocked down to 0 hit points by... Oh, actually it wasn't Top Gun who had the final kill. It looked like he did most of the damage, but it was Bricky on that Stitches getting the first kill, or at least that final blow. So between the two teams, I would say that I do prefer the draft out of Shut Up and Rage a little bit more. Strong map for Stitches. They've built around the Stitches pretty well between the Tychus, the Vala, the Anduin. So there's a lot of combo potential between using Leap of Faith later on when Bricky has Gorge, assuming that's what he's going. And even without Gorge, they have pretty good just raw follow-up if Anduin can land the Chastise, and then there's massive amounts of damage coming out of the Vala Tychus combo. Ezo there, moving down to the bottom, does pick up the siege camp, that bod siege camp. But Chelsea has backed up a little bit. Andrew's going to start clearing that apart, clearing that out. That's clearing apart does not actually make sense. Well, Shut Up and Rage going to be, I was going to say, maybe pushing mid a little bit. Yeah, I kind of would have preferred it if they did push mid a little bit with that instead of just letting it get cleared. They could have gotten a little bit of progress on these towers. I think it would have been worth it. They instead kind of rotated up to top wave where most of the wave had actually already been cleared, but oh well. Bruiser Camp now going to walk out for Reset City. So this Reset City comp is, I do think I do prefer the Shut Up and Rage comp a little bit more, but I do think the Reset City comp is perfectly functional. We do have ETC, we do have Greymane, we do have Malfurion again, and the Malfurion again is something that strikes me as a little strange. Not that it's bad, it's not what I would normally expect, and I don't really feel that there's a great argument here for it other than the fact that it's other than it being probably a comfort hero for the player. Of course, there is the root follow-up after the ETC, but the ETC just struggling to stay alive there because he went in, did manage to stun out Bricky, but then he just got burned down by the Tychus and the Vala. Tychus and Vala just really, really powerful front-to-back heroes. Obviously, Tychus known for his percent damage minigun trait, and we actually have the bigger they are. This is a bit of a throwback. Definitely a throwback to the days. Wow, Top Gun going in. Playing a little risky, but is ultimately okay. Dodges the root. The bigger they are, Tychus. Oh man, talking about Tychus getting in there. A little bit of a throwback back to the time before Master Assassin had been reworked and then became the standard. Before Master Assassin had been reworked, there was you basically just made a choice between the bigger they are or in the rhythm. Now Master Assassin tends to be the most common pick, especially when you look up at higher levels. But you're definitely going to burn down any hero really quickly when you're doing 4% damage to the enemy's health. Of course, it does come with that rather significant drawback of no longer having that effect on enemies that are at 30% health or less, which does matter, but nevertheless, the effect is still very powerful. Tychus and Vala just going to be pushing in, just standing really close up to those towers. This is very interesting positioning from the Stitches here. Probably looking for a hook, but not quite going for it. Looking for it on Easy K, maybe doesn't land it, but it doesn't matter. They're still just pushing up with their web weavers, and they're going to take out this fort, most likely, question mark. It's pretty close. ETC goes in for a slide, doesn't quite make it, and Ricky is content to step on a trap. He does get knocked over by the concussion mine, but not a whole lot is done with it. Another trap gets stepped on. Junkrat, of course, a super annoying hero to play against, but so far it hasn't found them much purchase yet. This double frontline burn from the Vala and the Tychus is proving to be very, very effective. Both of these players, Top Gun and Huckett, kind of specking into that hard single target burst. Huckett, with the bigger they are. Top Gun with, oh man, talk about single target burst. They're going to take down the Blaze. Andrew, of course, providing percent damage of his own. So, yeah, at least in theory, very, very difficult for the frontliners for Reset City to stay alive. And this is looking pretty good. For Shut Up and Rage, that is. Not looking quite as good for Reset City. About to hit level 10. They don't quite have a turn, but they're going to find that hook onto ETC. The follow-up isn't quite there from Mojo. Because as long as there's the root follow-up on the hook, Shut Up and Rage can really kill whoever they want. We can, I was going to say walk up Gorge, but Treywork does just use the boop to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's one of the things you can, is theoretically actually always an option with Stitches. Of course, you know, the hook is really Stitch's identity, but there are times when you can actually just walk up and Gorge. So, Bruiser Camp is going to be taken by... Bruiser Camp's going to be taken by Reset City, and perhaps with that they'll try to use that to get a turn in, but it's actually Shut Up and Rage that's... They have their own turn in now. Okay, level 10s are in for both teams. Bruiser Camp pushing mid. Alright, so we do have some heroic choices. There it is. There's the Gorge. There is the light... Oh, Treywork! Treywork, did he go? He went Crowd Surfer, but it's not enough to get him out of there. Is it going to be... It does Orem get out of here? Or Andrew going all the way in. He might go down himself, but of course he is a Leoric. Or he might just not go down. He might just get some healing in time from Mojo, and he'll be just fine. Chelsea goes in with the charge, but does need to burn that bunker just to make sure they stay alive. Charging in with about 30% hit points. Was a little bit scared, and this is going to be second turn in for Shut Up and Rage. Shut Up and Rage looking pretty good here. 4-0 so far for them in kills, and they get another turn in. I think there's a pretty good chance they get both of these forts, and we'll see what else they go for beyond that. So yeah, we definitely have some heroic choices here. Out of all the heroic choices, the most curious one to me is the March of the Black King from the Leoric. Entomb, obviously known to be quite powerful. There are definitely times when Entomb can be pretty well countered. In this case, we do have a Blaze. Blaze is actually one of the best counters to Entomb because you can both use Bunker when you're inside of Entomb, as well as put a Bunker right next to an Entomb and help someone get out of it. So that is at least one argument kind of against Entomb, mainly that there is a Blaze with Bunker, but in general, I do think that it is often much easier to make arguments in favor of Entomb than against it. And typically, oh, Easy K, getting a little scared here. Typically, I think the arguments in favor of Entomb are usually stronger, especially when you get to level 20 and you get buried alive. Since if if Blaze does get hit by Buried Alive at 20, he is legitimately killable, especially by a comp that has Vala and Tychus, and also Leoric. Anyway, Andrew moving around here, kind of behind enemy lines. Gets a little bit back to his side. Just trying to see how much he can push here. At this point, it is 5-0 in kills for Shut Up and Rage. And Reset City really just needs to find level 13 talent here so that they can play the game again and actually go out and do things. Ooh, yeah, I like this. I like this. This boss is just going to happen. We even have the Monster Hunter from Vala. Of course, this is something that is extremely powerful when you go Q-build Vala. On a lot of maps outside of Battlefield of Eternity and maybe like Alterac Pass and Cursed Hollow, I would honestly, personally still go Hot Pursuit even if I were to go Q-build. But it does just mean that they burn down the boss incredibly fast. So that is a boss taken, and they kind of get that boss while allowing Reset City to get their turn in. And I kind of like that turn of events. I think the boss is probably a little bit stronger than the Web Weavers. And I think Shut Up and Rage recognized that Reset City was just going to be playing really, really safely, trying to get level 13 talent here before they actually did anything. But, I mean, in the time that Reset City got level 13 talent here, Shut Up and Rage somehow got all the way to level 15. So they've actually jumped even further ahead in experience. And they're actually pushing. They're pushing despite the fact that it's a Web Weaver phase against them. That boss is cleared. Chelsea goes in and immediately bunkers. And this has got a little bit concerning since this also means, well, I was about to say he doesn't have it for Entomb, but there is no Entomb. Anyway, Chelsea gonna miss another charge. There's gonna be a light bomb and they're gonna be low health bars for Reset City. Treywork does manage to dodge the Drain Hope from the Leoric, but Bricky not able to dodge the, not Bricky. Bricky is actually able to catch Ezo there. And, does use Gorge. Gorge is down, but, I mean, that's 5 people up. Oh, Treywork gonna see what he can do here against Leo, but I think with only a Junkrat, I don't think there realistically is a chance for a kill against Leo, especially if he's gonna land a Drain Hope like that. That is a suck build Leo, I was gonna say. Seems to be sucking quite a bit here. So, yeah. All right, so with level 16 talent tier advantage, it does look like Shut Up and Rage was trying to push a little bit. Problem is they do have Vala and Tychus, not the strongest poke comp, and it's actually very, very hard to push into a Junkrat who's just constantly clearing waves from a distance. But anyway, 14-17 in kills. Anytime you see a 3-level disparity, it's always pretty rough and usually not a good sign. Oh, they just barely managed to keep Bricky out of there. Also without dropping any heroes. I actually think it's pretty nice to get the Bruiser Camp. Or is it? This Bruiser Camp actually looks like it's going to be cleared before the Web Weavers even come down. Reset City just looking to engage. Treywork is all the way in there and he just gets gorged. I think that's just a kill. Yeah, that's definitely a kill on the ETC. Oh, Top Gun nearly going down from the Riptire, but ultimately not enough. And this is looking really, really rough for Reset City. Reset City is the team here that is coming in with the better record, for whatever that means. So I would say, based on that, you know, I very tentatively saw Reset City as kind of the favorite here, but Shut Up and Rage looking really, really strong. And the truth is, it's hard to really say how much your record means, because sometimes schedules just work out differently where you end up playing, sometimes teams just end up playing stronger teams earlier on in the season and they end up having weak records halfway through. And sometimes the opposite is true. Sometimes a team plays the weaker teams earlier in the season and their record looks really strong halfway through. Both of these teams have also beaten teams that are higher than them in the standings. In fact, the only yeah, anyway, let's take a look at this fight. Andrew getting chunked down super low, does manage to get stunned by ETC, but another pull from Mojo, so that does mean no pull, or is there? Could have been another pull, maybe. I can't keep track of both pulls. But anyway, kills going down yet again, and the only kills are happening against Reset City. All right, and with those kills, I wonder if we're going to see a push for game. At the very least, we should see a keep. I think 2 keeps is... I think even pushing for 2 keeps is reasonable here. Andrew going to push out the lane, though. Probably just trying to get the team to 20. Concussion Mine knocks all of the members from Shut Up and Rage. Just kind of all in random directions. But doesn't do it. If anything, I feel like EZK needs to be really careful here. Because if he does get killed, it's pretty bad. He does manage to not get hooked there. All right, very nice. Like, things are already looking rough for Shut Up and Rage, but if they had found that hook onto EZK there on the Junkrat, could have been pretty disastrous. Just staggering. Yet another death. Trey work goes in, but it's now 16-20. This is a 4-level lead. Finds a mosh pit, but is the damage going to be there onto Huckett? No. Chelsea charges in, but he charges right into a light bomb. Big silence goes out, but it's not going to mean enough. Oh, the silence is from the Twilight Dream from the Malfurion. Malfurion himself, or rather, him or herself, don't know what the player is going to go down. And at this point, do we have... This is an extremely dominant game here. EZK going to get hit by that hook. Root goes out, but doesn't connect from Mojo. And, I mean, at this point, they're just going to look to end the game. It's 5v3. Huckett trying to put some damage on the core. Now he's looking to put some damage onto Treywork. Now things are getting a little bit rough. And, okay, that is actually going to be Treywork going down yet again. But now we actually have the first kill for Reset City. Does go out onto Huckett on that side because Andrew himself is really low. Going to try to use the March of the Black King. Of course, if you do land it, especially with the level 20 Death March, it does apply Drain Hope. And I believe that's a talented Drain Hope as well. The March 20 is actually extremely powerful, but obviously there, March didn't quite find purchase, and Reset City gonna just make whatever plays they can. They're gonna look to get the boss. They do, of course, have to watch out for a potential backdoor, and it is... Oh, I was gonna say it's gonna be turned, but no. Shut Up and Rage 3 gems short from actually making that happen. Chelsea needs to be careful here. He really does. Team has vision on him from Andrew. He's gonna get hooked. No, he's not. Just barely doesn't get hooked there. I think he was slowed at least at some point by Andrew. Okay, so Red Web Weavers are descending, but there is also a boss pushing in favor of Reset City. And I mean, they needed to take that, given that they actually had the opportunity and they just can't leave that up. Treywork is gonna do a little dance here, but there's really no one else around here to help him out. Izo is able to jump over the wall, but it's not enough. We got some people inside the bunker. Orm is in trouble, does use Twilight Dream, but ultimately it's not gonna be enough either. And with yet another kill against Reset City, I do wonder if Shut Up and Rage will finally look to end the game, maybe. Now, of course, there's only one dead, but we are talking about a 33% core. Drill has already been used. Drill is an option for trying to end. If you put down the drill and Tychus is shooting at the same time, it is a lot of damage. It's more damage than you... It's theoretically more damage than you could do with Odin, but Odin is a little bit safer and more reliable. Anyway, Chelsea going to be hit by that percent damage from Huckett. Now it's Treywork. Treywork is stunned by the Vala, and that's going to be the end of him. And now they just look to put more damage on the core yet again. And I think now we might see the end of the game. Shielding for the core is almost gone, and now it's going to be going down at 15%, soon to be 0. I think they just all-in core, my favorite saying, and they do get it. Massively dominant victory in favor of Shut Up and Rage in that game 1. All right, so that did not quite go how I expected it to, given I kind of... Sometimes one of the ways that I try to choose what series I'm going to cast in a given night is I try to look for something that could potentially be a close series. So I do look for things like 2 teams that have similar records. And in this case, these 2 teams did have similar records, but that was massively dominant by Shut Up and Rage. And Shut Up and Rage, again, they were the team that is actually lower in the standings. And maybe we'll take a look at that again, but let's take a quick look at the stats. So obviously Junkrat dominating the numbers, but that's kind of part of what Junkrat does, is just a long-range poke hero. Can just kind of pad stats. ETC ended up having a really tough time there, and that is just one of the troubles of ETC. You can just be like, that's an ETC. It's not a Diablo. It's not a Johanna. It's not, what else is really tanky? I don't know. A Blaze. You can just look at ETC and just be like, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to kill this tank. Especially when you have a Vala and a Tychus. Vala Tychus is an extremely powerful front-to-back duo. Can really kill whatever target you want, whether if it's a Blaze, if it's a Cho'Gall, if it's a Diablo, you can kill it with Tychus and Vala. Let's take a look at the talents. Now, of course, we actually had a Q-build Vala. Q-build Vala, good for bursting a single target, so good at that follow-up when you do have a hook coming in or a Gorge follow-up, obviously. Typically, of course, AA build is a little bit stronger if you're trying to go with front to back, but clearly it worked out here. So, I'm just taking a look at here, taking a look at the talents. I do see some interesting things all over the place. By far the most interesting one was the March of the Black King. I don't recall if it got much value, and there was at least one time when I saw that it didn't. But of course, in the end, it really doesn't matter, because they were just so dominant in that game that they would have won that game probably whether they had March of the Black King or N2. So, let's take a look back here. What's up, guys? It's King Andrew. I'm an NGS player. I'm a caster. I'm an ARAM enthusiast. I am a former school teacher, and I am a voice actor. I am. It's good to have you tonight. Good to see you tonight. I wear many hats. Let's take a look at the information for these teams. So this is what I showed earlier, just in case you didn't see it. Neither of these teams are too high up in the standings at the moment. Both of them struggling a little bit in their division. But it is Shut Up and Rage again with the 1-5 series record. So they're at least going into this series looking a little bit weaker, but now, going into Game 2, they're looking a lot stronger. So, 1-5 in series. Anyway. Trying to watch out for a lobby. Now, both of these teams have actually beaten other teams that are higher up in the standings. Both teams have beaten Buy for Catboys. Buy for Catboys is his team, again, higher up in the standings. And I believe Reset City actually has a win over Fen Sad. So both of these teams are able to punch up a little bit. And we did see many of these preferred heroes actually go through in the draft. We saw the Tychus on the side of Shut Up and Rage. That Tychus win rate is actually going up even higher. Goes up to, I think, 66% now, because they've won 6 out of 9 games on Tychus, whereas before they had, I believe, won 5 out of 8. And they didn't even need the variant and the Stu Comp to go along with it. So I wonder if maybe we'll see an adjustment, maybe see the Tychus ban. The Tychus just seems to be what's pulling in the wins for Shut Up and Rage. Meanwhile, the Malfurion, again, was something that was a little bit surprising to me. I think it actually struggled a little bit in that game. And a Malfurion does also struggle with dealing with powerful burst, like that you would come out of having both a Vala and a Tychus. Anyway, we're going to also take a quick look at our map screen. Adjust that because I do have Game 2 ready, or at least I'm in a lobby. Don't have the draft ready. And take a look at our maps here. So game number 1 is going to be won by Shut Up and Rage. Game number 2 is going to take place on Braxis Holdout. Braxis Holdout, and that was picked by Reset City. Personally, I'm often surprised to see Braxis Holdout. I do personally feel like it is kind of a harder map to play, in my opinion. Maybe that's just how I see it. Maybe that's how I feel about it. Maybe I'm just not very comfortable on it. But it's also a map where the early game matters a lot. It's also a map where the off-lane matchup matters a lot. Typically in lower divisions and maybe more towards mid divisions, you might see the game kind of just be played as like basically a 4-man bot, a one-on-one top, and you're just hoping that at least one of those, that your team wins at least one of those. As you go up higher in divisions, you'll see higher priority on heroes like Genji, Brightwing. Brightwing's high priority, really, any division, and you will see things be a little bit more flexible where there's a lot more rotating on the offlaner to try to kill them, gank them, really just shift things so that if you're not winning one of those two, either the 4-man bot or the offlane match up top, you kind of shift resources, shift personnel to one side to gain the advantage. All right, draft's going to be starting any moment now. Wonder if we will see any adjustments. I don't remember what was banned out the first time, but I wonder if we'll see the Tychus ban. It again is a hero that just has been very successful for Shut Up and Rage. They just lost against it. I'm not personally a big believer in it. I don't feel that Tychus is a super ban-worthy hero, but I still wonder if we'll see it. I'm gonna see the Junkrat ban, so actually the respect ban on Junkrat from EZK. Junkrat, obviously super toxic hero. Good for kind of controlling that vent that is right, basically just right below the beacon on the bottom. Really gives you a lot of good control. We also saw that Junkrat just had huge amount of damage last game. Wasn't enough for them to get kills or to get many kills or for them to win the game, obviously, but nevertheless, Junkrat, it's a pretty respectable ban, and there is going to be the Tychus ban, right? So they must have seen it in the scouting and be like, oh, they must have just seen the scouting. They must have seen the scouting or seen the scouting. They must have, seen the data, did their scouting, and they probably saw that Tychus was a preferred hero and decided not to ban it in game one. Felt like it wasn't going to be much of an issue, but that does just mean that Top Gun 707 picks up the Vala again, and that could potentially be an issue. Brightwing going to be banned out, as well as the Johanna. The Orphea picked up by Ezo. Now that is a spicy one, especially picking it up this early. That is crazy. I really just, my mind is blown by having an Orphea first. And the Malfurion again. Aurum just loves this hero. These things, that is a crazy one too, from my perspective. The Orphea is both a hero that I really don't see it being like taken away. Oh my god. And Orphea is pretty hard to play into Varian Stukov. Oh no. I'm a little worried now. I really like the way this draft is going right now for Shut Up and Rage. Of course, they've got the momentum. They're already leading in the series. Malfurion's cleanse at level 7, I'm pretty sure does not cleanse silences. I believe it cleanses stuns, roots, and slows. Now that's part of the danger of committing to a Malfurion this early in the draft. When things like Anduin are still up, and Anduin Rhaegar would basically be the main ones. Lucio into Varian Stukov is actually a little bit sus because I believe High Five will get interrupted by Lurking Arm, which is pretty tough. The Leo's actually going to be banned out. And of course, the Stukov variant is something that is very powerful, but also very one-dimensional. If you pick it too early, you sometimes leave room for it to be countered. And if you... Ooh, EZK, gonna pick up the Genji. You leave room for it to be countered. But with Malfurion already picked up, and him not having a cleanse that works on Varian, the Varian Stukov has a lot of potential to work here. We're gonna see the Anub'arak picked up. Anub'arak could just be killed by Varian Stukov Vala. It's pretty rough there. So yeah, really favoring the draft right now from Shut Up and Rage. Genji picked up by EZK is definitely one of the X factors here. That is kind of what I was talking about, how the higher you go up in divisions, the more you'll see heroes like Genji as a way of dealing with that offlane matchup and getting things going in your favor. And I do believe Easy K is someone who is a bit of a higher ranked player. I think in the past he was even as high as Grandmaster or maybe Master. Gonna be the Thrall out of Chelsea. All right, so that's going to be our draft. Don't think we had any switches. That would definitely mess me up. All right, boys and girls, game number 2 going to be taking place on Braxis Holdout. Reset City is down in the series, looking to come back. Orm is going to be on the Malfurion yet again. Treywork is going to be on the Anubarak this time. Easy K on the Genji. Ezo is on the Orphea. Chelsea on the Thrall. And their opponents, Shut Up and Rage, doing quite well. Extremely well in that last series. We'll see if they can close it out here. Huckett is going to be on that Mecha Tassadar. Top Gun 707 reprising his role on the Vala. Varian going to be played by Bricky. Mojo on the Stukov. And Andrew is going to be on the Blaze. So definitely midway through the draft, I was preferring the draft from Shut Up and Rage. Overall, I think I probably still do. But I don't think it is completely perfect. And I do see some room with the draft from Reset City for them to actually make something happen this game. A lot of it, in my opinion, for Reset City is going to rest on Easy K on that Genji. And right now he's just kind of walking around here, but what's really going to be influential, in my opinion, is at some point later on, he will rotate up here and create a 2v1 situation against Blaze. That is going to happen at some point. That's basically a major part of the reason for picking this hero on this map. So, that being said, as far as the 4-man goes, the 4-man down bot, I do like the 4-man down bot better from Reset City. Of course, they're going to have to wait for Varian to get Taunt at level 4 for them to really be online. But honestly, once that happens, I just really like their ability to blow up really anyone here in the 4-man for Reset City. It can be a noob. I don't want Bricky to try too hard to find a backline target when Varian's just not very good at that. Varian, though, also not very good at staying alive at level 2. Went in a little too deep. And Shut Up and Rage. Gonna have to concede ground for now. This does also give room. I was gonna say room for Easy K to rotate top, but it doesn't even look like it's needed. So one of my other concerns for this draft is the Thrall versus Blaze matchup. Now, I often talk about how I feel that Blaze is one of the top 3 offlaners in the game. That being said, I don't think Blaze is actually super great at having single target damage. And I think if you're just dueling many other offlaners, I think he will lose his health faster than the other way around. Like, I think if this is just a brawl between Thrall and Blaze, I think Blaze will slowly lose it. Anyway, things looking really, really rough now for Shut Up and Rage. I said I like their comp, but they're actually struggling with the early game because Varian doesn't have Taunt yet. It's about to change very, very soon, but they lost one whole Zerg wave as a result of it. Andrew pretty low on hit points, kind of struggling into Chelsea on that Thrall. And if I remember the draft correctly, the Thrall was the last pick, whereas the Blaze was definitely picked earlier, which is typically what you do with a Blaze. Blaze, not Blaze, Blaze. Typically, you will pick Blaze in the 1-2. In the 1-2, the 2-3, or sometimes even just first pick. Okay, Bricky does have Taunt online, though. It is 5v4 top, but Reset City is able to just get on out of there and not walk right into the Varian. Varian, though, looking to see if he can catch anyone in rotation. Maybe trying to go for Chelsea. Yeah, going for Chelsea. Does find that kill. I was about to say, the silence from Mojo looked a little late, but didn't matter in the end. Plenty of damage coming out of Vala and Tassadar to make that kill happen. Wow, they're going to try to invade both camps. I kind of don't like that they chose to ultimately abandon the top one and go for the bottom one. I actually felt that they should have committed to the bruiser camp. It was a 5v4 advantage. I think they would have taken that just fine, and then they probably still could have played for the bot camp while Reset City cleared the bruisers. In any case, Top Gun and Huckett going to be pushing alongside the Hellbats, as the Hellbats do reduce the armor of the towers, and these towers just absolutely melting. Bricky just holding that top bush or that top vent. Does get scouted out a little bit by a new Barak, and this is still a pretty big wave. Where is that clear? Genji going top, trying to make something happen against Andrew. They're body blocking Blaze, which is a way that you kill him, but ultimately it's still not enough, and while all that's happening, it's actually a new Barak who goes down. And I think Shut Up and Rage now just going to probably take this whole fort. All right. Bricky looking for another taunt, is able to get onto Ezo, and there is the Lurking Arm follow-up, and Ezo doesn't stand a chance. Easy K also going in there, did get Mojo really low, but not enough he can do by himself. Yeah, I mean, this is... So, I mean, obviously, Reset City were able to benefit from... They were able to benefit from having... I'm losing my train of thought because Andrew's dying here. Oh, look at that. That was crazy. Andrew, I think he gets out of here. No, he doesn't. He does, actually. And Easy K, he's dead. He has 9 hit points. Oh, God, he has he's done. And Chelsea is all the way back here, too. What is this? This is all so crazy. Anyway, I do see that we do have some kind of spam in chat. Real unfortunate. Maybe if I have some kind of break, I'll see if I can maybe mod one of you trustworthy fellows. But for now, we're just going to have to let that pass, as I'm a little busy at the moment. Anyway, funny interactions, funny things happening. Now that Shut Up and Rage actually has level... Basically, now that they have Taunt Varian, they're not struggling as much as they did before they had Taunt Varian. Bricky here. Bricky's kind of alone here. He does get scouted out. I think they kind of go on Bricky. Mojo's here. He's going to help out a little bit. We do have the... Easy K goes all the way in. Does manage to get stunned by Andrew, but not enough damage coming out because there are no damaged heroes here. Top Gun and Huckett now coming up. It's 5v5. Easy K still going in on that Genji. All right, Andrew needs to be careful here, so... Andrew has kind of been losing his off-lane matchup in part because sometimes he has to deal with Genji. But actually, I should say, he hasn't been winning it, but what's been good for him is that he also hasn't been losing it. Basically, he hasn't been dying. He's been able to stay alive, but can Huckett stay alive? He does manage to dodge pretty much everything. And instead, that's a kill on Genji instead. That's crazy. Oh my God, Huckett just slowly walking away on that Tassadar. That character with absolutely zero mobility, doesn't get hit by any CC, takes a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill him. And instead, it's Genji who goes down. And that's probably going to be another full Zerg wave in favor of Shut Up and Rage. They've got 10 talent tier advantage, 6-1 in kills. Bricky looking for something. They could just taunt Varian here. Yeah, I think they wanted like Genji too hard there, but they could not Varian. They could just taunt a new Barak. Like with this comp, you really don't have to like try to walk past the front line and go for the back line. You really can just taunt any target you see. And especially if a new Barak doesn't manage to get off Carapace before he gets hit, he can just be dead. Anyway, another full Zerg wave, actually now down to 74%. Nobody stepping into the Dread from Morphia there. Reset City just hanging on for dear life here. They're not clearing this very aggressively because they don't have 10 yet. And they don't want to die pre-10. Now that they have 10, maybe they look to do something. Do we have a Sundering? We don't have an ult picked up, but that's something that could create an engage here. Chelsea hasn't picked anything. He's just running after Huckett. I think Huckett does finally go down here, and it is Huckett going down. They do look for something. They find something. It's going to be the Earthquake instead, and the Anubrak is traded out in response. Mojo is super low, though. Genji is chasing after him. Genji still trying to make things happen. Andrew walking by, and Genji backs up a little bit. Ricky walking out too, and it's just going to be the 1-for-1 with the Guardian still pushing, but ultimately dying.
Did you get them all? I don't mean any offense. I just want to be sure.
All right. So, camp's just going to be picked on both sides pretty safely. Bricky is here by himself. He's often in these situations here by himself. He is going to charge Malfurion, and no DPS damage needed to kill that Malfurion. All the damage on that Malfurion came from Blaze, Varian, and Stukov. But while I'm talking about that, other heroes are going down. It's a 2-for-2. Bricky was caught inside the cocoon, now caught inside the crushing jaws. But it's Chelsea looking really, really close to dying. And Chelsea gets out, and it's just another 2-for-2. Yeah, what's also tough about this is I don't feel that... I feel that because this is an AA Vala this time from Shut Up and Rage, Shut Up and Rage also has the stronger late game as well. So the longer this game goes on, I feel like the worse it goes for Reset City, but they're already at a point where they're just trying to catch up and get back in this game. I'm really amazed how Bricky is always completely away from his team. But of course, Reset City doesn't know that, so they're kind of respecting the bush. I don't know if they saw Bricky at all. But Bricky is pretty unsupportive. And I mean, if he's by himself, that's the best chance that Reset City has to catch him. Of course, Reset City, down level 13 talent tier advantage, is just going to play really passively and try to catch up and soak. They're going to have a huge bot wave to clear. But once they do, they should have level 13 talent tier advantage, and they should be able to contest these beacons on relatively even terms. Bricky, though, looking for something. Bricky and Treywork are so close to each other, but do they even know it? See, like, I want to see Bricky just taunt the Anub. Like, Anub is a kill target. He is absolutely a kill target with this draft. Anyway, Mojo is going to be caught in the crushing jaws. He might be the first one to go down, not able to get in the bunker. EZK goes in, does find that kill onto Mojo, but he is traded out. Going in too far deep, not enough resources to save him, and Bricky, I think Bricky goes down now. And I think this might be Reset City stabilizing in this game. It's been looking really rough in this series, but at the same time, they lose the bot keep. I mean, they just barely stabilize. I wonder if maybe they should just try to get the boss, both just take it off the board, as well as just get it for their own advantage. Give Shut Up and Rage something to clear. But they're not going to play for the boss, I mean, in part because this still needs to be cleared, and this is Genji clearing it. This is going to take ages. I guess the problem is that they also have a Thrall who isn't going to be able to clear it super quickly either, which is one of the disadvantages of picking a Thrall as your solo laner. What's up, Giblets? Genji still kind of clearing this, does finally decide to get out of there, but the truth is this still kind of needs to be cleared. It still kind of does. Because that is two structures in that lane against one Bricky by himself. He's just always by himself. I mean, he is a variant, he is super hard to kill. Both teams being really cautious. Treywork finally lets a stun go. It's on Andrew, but I think they're a little bit split. The cocoon onto Varian. Yeah, they just need to go on Andrew. Oh, but the deflect from the boss, providing huge amounts of damage against the Blaze, and they do manage to find that pick. They need that, but also they need to clear this. This is terrible. So Thrall goes back. That means it's just going to be... Oh, this is actually rough. Oh, Varian finally actually goes for a taunt onto Nubarak. It is a kill. Chelsea's gonna come on back, but I don't know. Okay, EZK finds another kill, but Izo's super low, Orum's super low. Orem walks into the black hole, and I think this is just such a sloppy fight. Bricky now is in so much trouble. Oh no! What happened? Huckett goes down. Crazy. Now they need to go back and clear this. Oh my god, look at how fast this core is going down. Oh my god! I don't even know if they save it. So much. Okay. Oh my god, just 2 full waves. Oh no, EZK. Oh no, that's really unfortunate. That was something that really, they couldn't afford to let that happen. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, it's rough. Malfurion, I think, I think Malfurion is only just respawning now. The boss is pushing, but it's... Despite these late-game kills by Reset City, they still have a mountain to overcome. Cherrywork gonna burrow over that wall, get the point back, but Stukov gets out of there just fine. It is a little risky for Stukov to be getting that by themselves. And now we're in a position where it's just gonna have to be a 5-on-5 again. Problem is, all of this push, it's Genji going back to clear, doing as much as he can. Treywork stepping up. Bricky, yeah, Bricky knows that he's there. EZK, nice dodge on the jet propulsion from Blaze. Yeah, but basically Reset City needs a fight now. They need to just go in. Treywork goes in, but it misses, and there's a taunt. There's the stun, there's the silence, and that is going to be a Nubarak going down. Yet another kill. EZK trying to make things happen, but I don't think it's just not enough here for EZK to just try to put the game on his shoulders and kill everybody. All that being said, that is a 100% Zerg wave in favor of Reset City. So for the time being, they do stay alive in this game. If only they could push up here, secure this fort, because I wonder if this fort will be cleared. I wonder if this wave will be cleared before it takes out the fort. Holding this fort is huge for Shut Up and Rage because the pressure in that top lane is just absolutely backbreaking. And it turns out they're doing it. Okay. Well, this is pretty good for Reset City. They don't have to fight over beacons. They invade this camp, question mark? I think they do. I think they invade whatever they want because they just need fights. They need to make things happen quickly. Yes, they need that. They need someone, but oh no, Genji is dead. It's really rough. Can they trade it out for Varian? No, or Blaze. They traded out for Blaze, but it's 2 for 1 in favor of Shut Up and Rage yet again. And Bricky trying to keep going here. Izo is in a huge amount of trouble, does manage to get the Shadow Waltz out, but he's at so few hit points. Top Gun looking to see if he can find a Hungering Arrow, but loses the movement speed bonus from Hatred. Vaults in forward. They're still trying to make things happen. Oh, Izo does not get out of here. Or does it? No, he doesn't. Now they just pincer him from both sides. Top Gun finds the kill, and that's going to be it. I don't know what that lag was. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think they're just pushing to end and finish out this series. Ultimately, a pretty dominant series. Some signs of life from Reset City towards the end of this game, but ultimately a pretty dominant series as we see another kill. Yep, there it is. Just the Stukov follow-up on the Varian taunt really means anyone is a kill target. Huckett might go down, though, but even if he does, it just feels like too little too late. Because we still have an AA Vala alive. AA Vala, okay, Thrall is going to be finished off by Varian. EZK had fun, just kind of jumping around as Genji, finding kills wherever he could. Vala's not targeting the core. Come on, all in core, all in core. That's my motto. All right, so in the end, pretty dominant showing from Shut Up and Rage. They go up a little bit in the standings. Well, congratulations to them, as we'll take a look here. So didn't pay attention too much to damage stats. Damage stats just seem like pretty similar all around, with both the first and second highest damage dealer on both teams being roughly even. Bit of a discrepancy between the Thrall and the Blaze, but that is kind of to be expected. So I definitely think, I do have to call out here that I think drafting was definitely a concern for Reset City. In particular, the 1-2 pickup of Orphea Malfurion is something that I think needs to be reconsidered. These are both heroes that, if they are going to be picked at all, I don't think either one of them should really be picked up in the 1-2. And I think both of those picks up in the 1-2 were exploited pretty heavily. Orphea is a hero who's going to struggle into Varian Stukov. Malfurion is a healer that doesn't really handle the Varian Stukov engage very well. So I think, and clearly Malfurion is a comfort pick for the healer for this team, and that's fine. But I think if it is a comfort pick for your team, I think you do want to try to save your healer pick for later, which is rough because then you're giving up things like Brightwing, Anduin in those early picks. So, might also just be something like where you try to consider, like, if we want to pick Malfurion, to not just pick it, but also try to build the comp more around it. Now, of course, Malfurion can follow up on any tank engage, and there's decent synergy in that. But things like I mentioned before, Tracer Stitches are really strong pairings for Malfurion. Yeah, and that's just... that for me was the main thing that I think could probably be worked on from, at least from the draft perspective. There are probably other things that could be worked on from inside the game itself. But we've had enough talk of that. Let's see if maybe we can get someone in here for an interview. I'm also going to mention right now it is 7:03. So since this series did finish at a 2-0, I am most likely, in fact, like 99%, going to be casting another series. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm just going to, once I finish this interview, which is going to start right now, I'll pick up another series. What's up, Huckett? Congratulations on your win.
Thank you. It was a tough matchup, but looks like the guys came through.
Oh, you didn't make it look like a tough matchup, but I'm sure things feel a little bit differently when you're actually playing the match.
Yeah, it's all pretty stressful, and the scouting was hard because they seem to flex all over the place.
Very good, very good. So I want you to tell me a little bit about your team. I happen to know a little bit about your team, but this isn't about me. It's about you and your team. So tell me a little bit about your team.
So we I don't know, how do I tell about the team?
Do I fill in the blanks?
Maybe you know more than me. So
we originated as Mom in the Timeless Graveyard Discord.
So that's the history of Mom is what you know. So there's not too many guys that were on the old Mom, like Top Gun, Bricky, Mojo, and Andrew. I guess Andrew has been there a season or two, but we pretty much are a revolving door of players. And this season, we've gotten up to 10, which I think we're only allowed to have 9, so we're trying to cut one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the mod let us pick up another one. We almost didn't have 5 for tonight, even with that.
Wow,
had a bunch
that is
of guys
crazy.
Who hardly show up at all.
Feels bad.
Yeah, well, it's like herding cats.
that is true. That is basically what being a team captain is kind of like, and it's rough, and that's why I don't do it. But,
right. Nobody wanted to captain, and another team fell apart.
Yep,
and
that also happens
merged
too.
with ours, and because they couldn't find someone willing to do it.
Well, thank you for doing the Lord's work in that regard, and taking on the responsibility for captaining and putting another team in NGS. Given all that, is obviously so far you had a great win tonight, but so far it's been a bit of a tough season for you guys.
It has.
Is kind of the team situation like kind of a part of that, or what else is kind of going on there?
Yeah, it's been up and down. Some nights we feel really good, and some nights we just get it handed to us. We have different guys showing up every week, so it's tough to get into a rhythm. We've got a few comps that seem to work, and we just always seem to get outdrafted, though. Like, whatever we're deciding to do, the other team does exactly the right thing to stop us.
Well, lucky for you tonight. I do believe that you, especially in the second game, I think you really got the better end of them in the draft with them. I was kind of criticizing it before talking to you, where they opened with the Malfurion and the Orphea, And I think your pickup of the Stukov and the Varian, which is already something that you guys like to run, but I think is particularly strong into what they started with in the 1-2.
And then they picked Genji as well, which was a problem for me as Tassadar, but Varian and Stukov is really the solution to it as well.
Yeah, I think Genji was probably like their best hope for winning after the 1-2 was a little bit rough.
Yeah. Yeah, typically they go with the longer range mage when we have the Varian Stukov. But they led with the Orphea, which is something we like to see.
Yep. Well,
yeah, so the Malf, the first pick Malf each time. We kind of knew that would happen. Aram seems to only play Malf, and we were happy to let it go because not all that scared of him. But he did get in some really good sleeps. Like every time I was anywhere near him, I was asleep. So I got to give credit to Aram.
I mean, the hero can certainly do things. It's just also has certain limitations that unfortunately did kind of come up for them. Unfortunately for them, fortunately for you.
Right.
How many games do you have left in this season? Since it's different for different divisions. I only have 2. Do you know how many you have left?
So is it week 7?
It is.
We don't have anything else scheduled after this. I don't know. I think are there 11 weeks or is that too much?
Again, it's I don't know because different divisions have different numbers of matches to play.
Yeah, there's 12 teams, and I don't think we have any flexes, so 11 weeks. And so we have we've played, what does it say? We've played 7, and one team, 11, because the team that forfeited has 11 matches played. So we have 4 left. But one of them is against a forfeiter, or should we already get credit for that?
You already got credit for it.
So 3 left.
3 left. So
3 or 4.
If we include the forfeit, your team record right now is 3-5. So if you have 4 matches left, do you have 4 or 3 matches left then?
I don't know. 3.
Okay. Well, let's say it's 3. Let's say it's 3. What do you think? Do you think your team can go 6-5? You think you can win the next 3?
Oh man. Well, who? I haven't looked that far ahead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Take it one day at a time, along with making sure you just have players for the match.
All right. So we haven't played the number 1 team, Start Slow Then Taper Off, or the number 2 team, I think. So
that's tough. That's tough. All right. Well, best of luck to you on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's just head on out to. You got any shout outs before we close out this interview?
Everybody played really well, and I'm pretty proud of the guys. But my wife, it looks like she watched until the end because she came in after we won both games and she was all excited. So that's surprising. I had to close the door in her face because it was interview time. So sorry, Robin, but shout out to you.
Always good to have the support of your loved ones.
All right. Thank you so much for casting. It's always good. I can't wait to watch the stream.
All right. Well, you celebrate your win and then get ready for your challenges up ahead. You have a good night, Huckett.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, boys and girls. So that series is over, but don't leave just yet because I'm for sure picking up another match. And I'm going to take a look at what matches are available right now. Going to take a look. So there are, I believe, 7:30 matches coming up. There are a couple of them. All right, so there are 3 7:30 matches. I don't know why I'm even trying to hide it, but someone did kind of ask me to cast one of these matches, so I'm going to be picking up Div D West, LTK We Hate Objective versus Creepy Crawly Spiders. Yeah, don't know how much. Someone did ask me if I could cast it. So I'm going to be casting it. And I just need to claim it. And I don't think there is... Yeah, there are no... Actually, there could be other matches going on, but I'm not going to raid over because I'm going to be casting another match soon. LTK, We Hate Objective versus Creepy Crawly Spiders. So, do got to say that matchup ended up being a little bit more one-sided than I kind of thought it would be. But I used pretty limited data to base my impression that this was hopefully going to be a close match. I basically just saw that the 2 teams had similar records. Now the 2 teams actually have the exact same series record. Both Reset City and Shut Up and Rage have a 2-5 series record. So Shut Up and Rage moves up just a little bit higher in the standings. I wonder if that puts them in playoff contention. That was B